Maqsood, and I'm grateful for all of you that are coming on this broadcast right now. I'm going to encourage you if you can share this video with your family, friends on social media. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, any part of the platform, Twitch, LinkedIn, and or Instagram, anywhere. If you can share this with your family, friends, that would be awesome because that way my guest who is going to share in phenomenal information. This is very crucial and that will be helpful to people. And today's guest is Dan Rubadam. He's here in Houston, and I'm just privileged to have him on. He's what a legend, what a man of God, and also great experience, 30-year of experience in the ministry. So I'm going to bring him without further ado. Here you go, one and only Dan here in Houston.
Hey,
Dan, how you
Adnan.
doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So thank you so much for coming on this live broadcast. I am sure that what we will talk about today will be very beneficial for the people that will hear. But I'm gonna encourage people to, if they can share, tag, or even you can put your question right below this video. So first of all, Dan, I think I missed a lot of your introductions. Would you like to say something that I have probably left out?
You did a pretty great job. I'm just thrilled to be here. Thank you so much. It's an honor. And yeah, 35 years in production, film, TV, and video, and kind of all aspects of it, anywhere from feature film all the way down to promos, music videos, and television shows, primarily for ministries. That's really been my heart.
That is great. Dan, starting in the like 35 years ago, as you said, that where did you started it?
Well,
Did you
35
start it
goes
with a
to, yeah.
cassette, camcorders?
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, even before that,
Wow.
surprisingly, yeah. So 35 brings me back to right when I started college. I kind of count that
Yeah.
as my career beginning, and that was on 1-inch tape, is what I used to use. I graduated from Oral Roberts University, and I was part of the team there producing Richard Roberts Live and a lot of pretty amazing programming for Oral Roberts. And also before that, really, I guess my start was on Super 8 film in the 70s, shooting with my dad's Super 8 camera he got in Vietnam. And that was probably the first time I got the bug.
Wow, that's amazing. And but where did the idea actually come from? Like, hey, maybe you can shoot the shows or start like getting into media. Maybe media was the media big thing back then?
I mean, nowhere near like it is now. It's blowing my mind, how different it is now. But I think God just puts little desires in your heart of things that you just enjoy and like to do. I first started messing around with my dad's stereo. I'm also a drummer and trumpet player, so I was learning just the kind of the creative side of stuff. It was just fun to me, and shooting movies just as a kid. We just do Star Wars movies, like in our backyard with wooden swords and acting like they were lightsabers, and I think so. Then I really progressed more into audio though in high school. That was really my passion because as a musician, I worked in a recording studio for a while, and just like in part time in the summer. And then when I went to college at ORU, I saw these huge TV cameras and lights, and I'm like, whoa, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So that's kind of really when it started the transition to video and television. And then I started doing like commercials for ORU and got a Addy Award for one of them. And I always tried to make video look like film. That was always like my
Wow.
mission, just because I wanted it to look like movies. I didn't want it to look like news or sports or a soap opera. That'd be the worst thing in my mind would be, it had just look cinematic. That was always my goal. So that was my
That
quest, and I always tried to do fun things to get there.
Nice. That's awesome. And you had a opportunity of working for people who have a large ministries and very heavy hitters, very influential voice like Joel Osteen's 18 years. I think you were there.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then John Hagee and Joel Osteen's and all these
yeah.
bigger churches. Yeah.
Absolutely. So after I graduated, I got a call one day, like literally the week before I was graduating, getting married, and then they were like, "Hey, we're starting a TV show for Carmen. Would you like to be the producer?" I was
Was
like,
that at TBN?
"No, that was just an independent thing. It was
Oh,
for
wow.
directly with Carmen,
Oh, wow.
and he was
Before he
starting
got on
this."
the TBN.
Correct. Yeah,
Wow.
this was. I mean, this is you mentioned video cassette earlier. Well, this was cassette VHS. The whole premise or the way they were going to deliver it was a video club. So they called
Okay.
it Time 2 Club Video, where they, went out to Carmen's audience. He had a huge audience at the time. And
Wow.
so they sent out a monthly VHS, 30-minute to 45-minute show, variety show, out to his mailing list. And so it was produced directly to VHS. I mean, that was our delivery. And then eventually TBN did get it picked up. And then it became one of the top youth shows on TBN for many years. They kept rerunning it so far that 10 years later, I was like, man, wish we had some, new episodes. But that was fun. That was like a boot camp. I did that for a year and a half. I worked for a place called Stephen Yake Productions and shot on, what did we shoot on? Beta SP cassette,
Hmm. Wow.
mastered to D2. This is really nerding out a little bit, but D2 tape. It was digital. It was kind of significant at the time because it was the first time you could add multi-generational not generational people, but generations of video layers on top. This is way before the Avid or Final Cut or Premiere.
Wow. Yeah.
So, yeah.
That is amazing. Not to age you, I mean, you're just turned 27 years old.
Yeah, yes,
Happy
27 and a
birthday.
half. Yeah, something like that.
That's awesome. Dan, you look
Yeah.
great,
Yeah, no,
and I was
thank you.
looking at, on your website, some of your older photos. I'm like, you haven't changed much. You were standing at the very first night of Hope in 2009 with Joel
That's
Osteen
right.
in
Yeah.
Yankee Stadium. And I was like, you same complexion, just few gray hairs, but other than that,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah.
that's a glory of God over you. So
That's right. That's right. I'll take that. Yeah.
yes. How did you get into working for Joel Osteen? And did you know? I mean, Joel Osteen father is a pretty famous guy, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
and probably did you have experience with him being behind the camera or no?
Well, I certainly knew who John Osteen was,
Yeah.
and he was legendary. When I was working at, I had then came back after Stephen Yake to do Carmen's show back to
Yeah.
Oral Roberts, and I was the director of or head of production for the studio there. And then I had a friend, John Swearingen, who went to work for John Osteen, and then a few years later, they're going to start a TV station called The Tube, Channel 55 here in Houston. And I was in Tulsa at the time. So they were like, we're putting together a team to put together this station. It's going to be kind of a new idea, inspirational programming. And so I came down and helped them start that. And that's a whole story into itself, but it was pretty exciting. About a year and a half, 2 years. And then John Osteen passed away at the end of 99. And then Joel came and asked me, hey, do you want to come work at the church now, since he was becoming pastor? And I was like, yeah, let me think about it. Yes. So then I was there, so the beginning of him being pastor, and we were at the other building on the east side of Houston, and was there for several years before he built the compact or changed the compact center into Lakewood Church. And so I was there for that whole ride. So it was a whirlwind, and it was just so fun, and really an amazing privilege to be there during that time, and just got to see how God really used him and the staff there and everybody to support him to just really get the word out in a kind of a new way, and just saw a lot of salvations. Like that was pretty much that blew me away. Was like everywhere we went, when he started doing the arenas and the stadiums, he would ask for salvation call, and like literally almost every hand would go up. And so it was pretty humbling. And on the video side, I was just learning so much. I'm always learning, no matter where I'm at. I'm always just trying to just push myself more and more, learning the next new thing. And so we got to shoot on the camera that they used, George Lucas used to shoot Star Wars. It's one of my old stories I always like to talk about. At the time, it was called the F900. Sony came out with it in conjunction with George Lucas working with Sony to finally, do his movies in digital, which was his dream. So and then that became available to the general public, to production people, and so that was an exciting time. That picture there. That's fast forwarding a little bit, but that's shooting the movie called Palau on the Alexa. If you scroll down, so that's Toby Mac. That's shooting with Eric Welch, my buddy from ORU. He would bring me along to shoot a lot of those Toby Mac live concerts, which were fun. That's with Joel and Victoria there, shooting there on Alexa on the left, and that's at Yankee Stadium on the right, as you said. And that right below that is that D2 suite I was telling you about. That was editing Carmen. So a little bit has changed, other than style too. Those shoes, wow.
Yes, that's amazing. I like it. You're saying John Osteen was legendary. I think you're legendary.
Oh yeah.
That walking with the man of a great influence now in the world. Has that impacted you on a personal level? Seeing people lives are changed, hands are going up, saying yes to Jesus Christ. What is like when you went home? What was it like for you? Like, wow.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Every time, like my focus has always been kind of just like, okay, just doing the video thing, doing the audio thing. But then you always have to just pause and just take it in. Like if you're standing in that arena, you're like, you know what, this is a moment here that's like so much bigger than me just running this camera and getting footage to take back. It's like, it really does impact you very deeply. And I've always considered myself as a Christian first and then a filmmaker, and not in the reverse order. So it's my priority is always to be, getting the gospel out, and through my talents that God gave me, whatever they are, to further that and to facilitate it and to mirror the people that I'm working for at those times. So I always tried to take those personalities, because God, creates us as personalities, and those different leaders I'm talking about, and so to reflect them well back on video. So like, and in a way that presents the gospel to the best way we possibly can, technically, creatively, and of course spiritually. So I don't ever want to get in the way of that, of how the Spirit of God's moving through those programs. And I always took that seriously. And a lot of times you're not conscious of it. You're just doing the job, and it's can be a lot of hard work. So, but it's good to reflect on it, and I would try to do that as often as I could.
Absolutely. I feel truly, Dan, that we have a scarcity of Christian producer, in the churches, and also the people that even I was on the trail for hiring the best producer, and I struggle with that. I mean, looking back now, being in the industry, and always like looking for cutting edge, and I also wouldn't say that I haven't hired great producers. I have, but at the same time, being in this field and posted a job for like 3 4 months waiting for somebody to like apply for the job, and go through numbers of different content creator producer people who makes videos and shows, Well, very few of them, like you can sit with somebody down and you're like, oh my gosh, that person can't even answer the questions and not
Right.
disclosing the information. But at the same time, tell me your definition of like, I'm just, still in that mode of like interviewing people. And I was asked like, used to ask like, tell me what your personal relationship with Jesus Christ, and person wouldn't be able to explain it. So I want to ask you that question now, since you're at the pinnacle level of your success. I don't know if I can say that or not, but to
I
me,
don't
you
know.
are at the
Still
pinnacle.
on the way up, I think, but thank you.
Yes. So, what is your definition of your faith with Jesus Christ, or is that personal questions to you?
Oh no, that's absolutely that's core to who I am.
Yeah.
Is not just a follower. Really, it's more than that. It's just like he's my savior. He's my all. Like I just wouldn't be doing this had it not been for God opening the doors for me, and like I really take it seriously to like take advantage of the opportunity he gives me to do it right and to care for the vision. But like, you have to stay, you've got to start with character in your own self to be like, I'm born again. Jesus Christ is my savior, filled with the Holy Spirit. And really that's who I am at the core. And I want other people to feel that power, the power of God on the other side of that lens.
Yeah.
And, of course, working for Oral Roberts, that was a real thing that was really, impressed on me, and to such a deep level. One of his biggest things was to teach the students there how to hear the voice of God. So it's really important that I hear the voice of God as first. And, when I'm doing a project, I ask the Lord, what is it? How do you want to use this? Like, how do you want me to creatively, strategize? How am I going to do it? And also just pray over the people that are going to be on the other end of it, so that the words I say through the video, whether it's text or images through cinematography or the sound or the music, like I just want it to all be for his glory. And so everything else, but it comes secondary. But at the same time, I think he wants us to be at the highest excellence of everything we do. And I want to represent him to the best way we can, but also in the most creative ways that can compel people to come in to the kingdom, and so they know God's healing power, salvation power, so they'll be financially blessed. So I just all of those things can be accomplished, I think, really powerfully through media. And it's, as changing so much. I mean, it's mind-boggling how we can get the gospel out. Even doing what we're doing right here would have been just hundreds of thousands of dollars back when I started. Like the satellite time and the production crew would have taken. I mean, it's insane what we have available to us. So I think people generally know. They think that everything's in the palm of your hand on your phone. But I think we should definitely take advantage of it to the fullest ability we have.
Yes, absolutely. Great to hear that. So I also want to, ask you from the creative side, that what are your specialties? List that out, or is that too many to mention on this little bitty broadcast?
I probably spend 75 to 80% of my time editing, video editing, film editing.
Yes.
So motion graphics, editing, color, audio mixing. So, and then I also am a cinematographer and director. I've written screenplays, and I don't know if we talked about Palau yet or not, but I don't know if we talked on the pre-interview or now or not.
No,
but
we were just talking a pre-interview. We talked about it.
Yeah. So that was where I was the cinematographer on that. But that's primarily my skill my skill set, but right now I'm kind of shifting a little bit into a place where I want to like pour into the next generation of filmmakers, young and old, just whoever are interested in learning the craft of editing, cinematography, lighting, whatever it is, audio production, just in a way that's more excellent maybe than they know how to do at their current place. So I'm launching some courses very soon, online courses to help people do that.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
what we are seeing right now, is that one of the course, or is am I lost?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's kind of it's a splash page. It's coming soon, so if you scroll down, you can sign up, and I'll keep you informed when it launches. Hoping to launch it before the end of the year.
Awesome.
So yeah. So
Wow,
then
that's
yeah. So that's my edit suite there. You can see a little corner of it. It's the same room I'm in right now, but you can see I've got the DaVinci color panel. I use
yes.
DaVinci. I use Premiere. People are always asking me, Premiere or Resolve. And I'm like, yes, just pick one and go with it. I prefer Premiere, and then I use Resolve for color. Uh,
Yes.
so
What
yeah.
about Final Pro Cut?
Yeah, Final Cut is great.
Okay.
It's great. In fact, I use Final Cut in the early days when it was first introduced, all the way through version 7, and I switched back to Premiere when they went to 10. But I would just say it's a great program. All three of those are great. There's a lot of even other kind of lesser known editors that are pretty well. They can do a lot, but if you stick with those three, you're going to be pretty well covered in the professional realm. Like if you're going to find the largest base of users in Premiere and Final Cut, but and so pick one and go with it. But if you want to work in the Hollywood level, high end ministry, you need to go with Premiere, Resolve, or Final Cut, but probably Premiere because of how it works so well with the whole Adobe suite. So if you've got a creative team that's using Photoshop, Illustrator, all those kind of things, they just work so well in After Effects. So
Yeah, that is great. Yeah. So I'll encourage people to. I have worked with Dan. Can I say that, Dan?
oh yeah, yeah,
We worked-
please, yeah,
Yes.
it's been fun, yeah,
Previously. Yes, we worked on a few projects, but I believe we will be able to work on a bigger project. So,
yeah. Look forward to that.
upcoming year, as you know, that I'm launching Vision Television Network in the
Mm-hmm.
month of November. We announced it at the conference of content in Dallas. I just came back from Dallas today. I was
Wow.
preaching. Yes, I'm like on the go. My wife goes
Yeah.
like, "Your assignment is Dan tonight. You're interviewing him." It was like awesome. Well,
Just
seven
point me in
hours.
the right direction, huh?
Yes, 5 hours of driving back and forth, and here I am, getting back on here. That's how you know that for me, Dan, this is not a work for me. This is not like something I have to do it,
Yeah.
or I'm obligated to do it just because it's involve a lot of energy and a lot of technology. It doesn't bother me. This is what I feel like I'm built to do, and this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I decided it, and um, hopefully, I will be able to teach other people too. And I'm also launching some courses on marketings and all that stuff,
Oh,
and how I
wow.
can
Well,
teach
sign me
people.
up. Yeah.
Yes, how we can grow our platforms, invite guests, and over the years I've had a great success by the grace of God to leading people into creating their own shows, and and be successful at it. So here, back to you, Dan. Let's ask you the since we were talking about the course, I already showed your course. I'll encourage people, if you want to sign up for the course. I have not met, and sorry anybody hearing out there, but I have not met yet a person that who rolls like Dan. He's very humble, who is always like saying, "Hey man, I'm learning," and then also handling people is very awesome part. I think that's also come from the time of you working with the high profile ministers, and also keeping your head at this up front of them, giving them a confidence, but at the background you're asking God, like, God, please help me, give me a favor with that
Yes.
person.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So how can people support you if somebody wants to hire you for a movie? I know you're shooting movies. What is the process? How can they get a hold of you?
You can go to danrubottom.com and you can fill out the contact form right there. And that's kind of my cinematography, editing, production side. And my email also, I'll just give you that, is dan@danrubottom.com. And my Instagram is a good place to follow me for that too. It's at Dan Rubottom. So it's DAN, just like my name spelled right there. And yeah, between those two, that's pretty, you can get a hold of me.
Awesome. That is great. Uh, Dan is a great person if you're looking for, a person that who you can bring on your platform or on a place of like if you're working on a short project or long-term project, so you can bring Dan, whether it's a photography, videography. But I tell you that this guy can go from setting up a stage, lightings, to like pretty much everything. Dan can do. So I have full confidence. So Dan, as we coming towards the end, what is the greatest tip you will give somebody who are just starting in that industry, in the media, and but they have a desire to be great and and do it right? So what would you say that?
I would say it to be humble enough to do what do more than what you're expected to do, and to know when to ask questions and know when to just kind of stay out of the way and just observe. It's a good way to learn, but just be humble enough to, if somebody asks you to do something, whether if it's a production manager asking you to uh, go move a couch over here for this set piece, and you're kind of thinking, well, I really came here to do audio. Go ahead and just do whatever they ask. Move that couch, and then on top of that, move the chair, and then move the, and like kind of like go over, go beyond, and try to think about how that producer is looking at the whole situation and all the things he has to do. Try to get behind their vision and help them think of things before they even think of them. Don't get in the way. You have to kind of, be careful with that. But at the same time, just try to be proactive and be a problem solver. And if you don't
Instead
know
of
how to do
problem
something,
creator.
yes, instead of a problem creator, if you don't know how to do something, say, I don't know, but I'll find out.
Yes.
And then go and that night, Google it, find out how to do it, or ask someone on,
Wow.
at the moment how to do it. And always be hungry to learn how to do the next thing. And don't think any job is below you, because you never know who's watching you. You don't do it necessarily to impress people. If you're just doing what you love to do, if you think of it that way, as unto the Lord, and also just something that you enjoy doing, it's going to shine. You're going to shine, and your people are going to promote you and move you to the next step. God's going to promote you. So
Wow.
that would be mine.
Wow, this is the greatest advice you could, give anybody. Dan, if I would have been interviewing you right now for a job, you would have been hired. Just
Oh,
not because you
let's go.
you
Yeah.
you have a great skills of like moving heavens and earth, nah, but because of your attitude and because you're humble and
Well, and you
it's
don't, I,
go ahead.
you grow into that over
Yeah.
time. The more, all those jobs that sometimes I didn't always have the greatest attitude, but
Yeah.
you learn along the way. So
Absolutely, because everything that you said, you were working on my show when I was gonna about to interview somebody, and there was another producer, and I can't forget, like you just when I walked into the studio, you just changed everything. Like you brought in the letters, you put those lightings on the back and just set it up like a whole. I did not ask you to do that, but you've done it. And when I walked in, and I never get to say that, thank you
Mm.
for creating a whole that new set in terms of with the lighting stuff. And then after that, nobody touched it. We always maintained those lights right in those corners.
Oh,
and
good.
and you're talking about moving the chair or doing whatever thing necessary possible. This is exactly, you do that is not just you saying it because for the sake of broadcast, but you have done that.
Mm.
But well, it's the greatest joy to
Thank you.
interview you, and I'm sure we can get to do this more. I'm sure there is so much in you that we can dig out. And but I want to help people to learn more into media industry, because this is like a bitcoin, and people are speculating it and thinking about like, oh, should we do it, should we not do it, should we do it, should we not do it. I think you can make more money in the media industry, and also by hiring other people to build a massive empire with that. But again, as for the value of Dan time, I will say that anybody wants to sign up for the course, you can sign up the course. Great guy, and then also make sure you uh, pay him well if you were to hire him, because uh, when we do this full time, we are putting everything on live. I mean, everything on energy times, like we it's involves a lot in any production. I get it, I understand it. So that would be awesome. So Dan, thank you so much for coming on. Do you have any final word before we you know end this
Yeah, yeah.
broadcast?
Well, a couple things. I'm just so excited about your new network, and
Yes,
congratulations on that. And to
thank you.
really, and the courage it takes to just jump out into this. And I think, really, I think this is honestly the most exciting time to be alive. I mean,
Yeah,
with all the bad things going on, you can choose to look at that. You can choose to walk in fear, but I'm choosing to, like, occupy till he comes. So
yes.
my goal is just, hey, let's run harder, faster, more, and use wisdom, and just I think there's just going to be a real blessing on everything that's being done right now for the gospel, especially. And so I think it's our time to shine and run.
That's fantastic. Hey, everybody, danrubottom.com. Find out more about him, and also see what you can get from Dan to advance your career, advance in the job that you're passionate about. So, thank you so much, Dan. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Adnan. I'm honored, and just thanks so much. Let's do it again sometime.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Make sure you continue to share, invite your guests, friends, everybody on, because I'm telling you, this person that I'm interviewing has a lot of knowledge and skills that can help you advance your career. Thank you so much. God bless you.